welcome. Shout out to Taraya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Thank you for joining. Yes. Yeah, you can do that. Yes. Yes, you can add your parents' name. Shout out to Monique. Hi, welcome. Oh, Milo, I hope you feel better. I'm so sorry that you feel sad. Shout out to Cassidy. Shout out to Milo. Shout out to Mackenzie. Shout out to, thank you Milo for liking and subscribing. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Brandy. Shout out to Pippa. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Emmy. Oh, I put Emmy already. Shout out to Carly. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Aaliyah. Shout out to Chloe. Thank you, Fairy Girly. Shout out to Sylvia. Shout out to Amcy. Shout out to Lulu. Shout out to Julie. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to Uyen Pema. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Gia. Shout out to Elisa. Shout out to Dance Moms. Shout out to Amy. Shout out to, is it Khalil? Oops, did I spell it right? Oh yeah, I did. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Mirab. Shout out to Alexa Jane. Shout out to Estelle. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Hans. Shout out to Hans with a Z. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Rudy. Whoopsie, I messed up so badly. Let me rewrite that. There we go. Shout out to Rudy. Shout out to Mace. Shout out to Genesis. Shout out to Jarek. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Miriam. Shout out to Johnny. Shout out to Ruth Ann. Shout out to NessDIYcorner. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Blessing. Shout out to Abigail. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Yannick. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Savannah. Shout out to Pauline. Shout out to Maddie. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Thank you so much for being here. And also thank you for your patience. Please write your name if I haven't gotten to you. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Ramsey. I'm gonna write Ramsey again because I messed up. There we go. Shout out to Ramsey. Shout out to Pierce. Shout out to Kensley. Shout out to Susanta. Shout out to Brianna. Shout out to Ginu. Shout out to Journey. Shout out to Brayley. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Liam. Shout out to Bridget. Shout out to Kenzie. Shout out to Lauren. Shout out to Niana. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Raylin, or Rylan. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Marley. Shout out to Jariah. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Jaquel. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Maham. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Ava Lynn. Thank you for the little hearts, super cute. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to Gabriel. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to Asma. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Annie. Shout out to Aaliyah. Shout out to Minnie. Shout out to Adeline. Shout out to Seda Yesh. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Meadow. Shout out to Isla. Shout out to Melanie. Shout out to Tabby. Shout out to Sienna. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Aliana. Shout out to Buck. Shout out to Janelle. Shout out to Azra, or Azra, sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Sia. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to, thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to adorable Alistair. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad I said it correctly. Shout out to Maria. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Elena. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my shout outs. I would truly appreciate it. I also post other content that I hope you can check out. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you. Also, thank you for your patience. Please write your name again if I haven't gotten to you. Shout out to Daisy. Shout out to Finley. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Ayana. Shout out to Ariana. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to George. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Vince. Shout out to Nyana or Niana. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to, did I spell it correctly? Oh yeah, I did. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Dina. Shout out to Luca. Shout out to Aika Khan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Bo Kang. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Amelia, I got you. Shout out to Connor. Shout out to Timber, thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to Heidi. Shout out to Adriana. Thank you for subscribing. Dennis, I got you. Shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Leilani. Shout out to Penny. Shout out to Felix. Shout out to Kenji. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Abigail. Shout out to Yoonjin. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ania. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Ania. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Nyla or Neela. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Colton. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Natalia. Shout out to Sabrina. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Donovan. Shout out to Vio, or Vio. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Luna. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Ava. Thank you for your patience. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Yoon Lix. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Autumn. Shout out to Marissa. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Kyrie. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Trinity. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to Kala. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to Thea. Shout out to Macy. Shout out to Marl. Shout out to Kobe. Shout out to Denzel. Shout out to Nelly. Shout out to Neo. Shout out to Adriana, thank you. Shout out to Erin. Shout out to Zia. Shout out to Kyla. Shout out to Barbie. Shout out to Eleanor. Shout out to Paulette. Shout out to Hanya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Lyndon. Shout out to Bentley. Shout out to Kinley. You're welcome, Toby. Shout out to Hunter. Shout out to Chloe. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Hasana. Hi, thank you for joining. Also, thank you for your support. Shout out to Alexa. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Camila. Oh no, it's Camelia. Sorry. Camelia. Shout out to Yunche. Shout out to Fiona. Shout out to Katarina. Shout out to Juliet, thank you for your patience. Shout out to Nova. Shout out to Nayana. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Sheska. Shout out to Elaine. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Sierra. Shout out to Madeline. Shout out to Diego. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Sierra. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Rex. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to I don't think I'll be able to fit everyone's name. Shout out to Fabroon, if I write tiny. Shout out to Aaliyah. Shout out to Zoe. Okay, there we go. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Oh, the last page. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the shout outs. I also post other content. I hope you can check it out and support as well. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And thank you for your patience. Shout out to Hasana. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Millicent. Shout out to Kira. Shout out to Lyndon. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Miko. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Jazzy. Shout out to Millie. Shout out to Zaya, or Zaya, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Ezra. Shout out to Melina. Shout out to Eleonora. Shout out to Manha. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Jojo. Shout out to Liam. Shout out to Eshal. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Luke. Shout out to Lindy. Shout out to Sophie. Shout out to Rosemary. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to Malachi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Wait, you can't really see that. Let me fix that. Shout out to Malachi. There we go. Shout out to Elena. Shout out to Addie. Shout out to Ari. Shout out to Lainey. Shout out to Zara. Shout out to, is it Lay? Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Stylin. Shout out to Hasana. Shout out to Niana. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Alicia or Alicia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Melly. Shout out to Sherlyn. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Gabe. Shout out to Noob. Shout out to Liberty. Shout out to Bob. Shout out to Zaya. Thank you for subscribing. Or Zaya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Mai. Shout out to Kai. Or Chi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to AJ. Shout out to is it Lucia? Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Tobias or Tobias. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Rylan. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to June. Shout out to Titus. Shout out to Tracy. Shout out to Ruan. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Livy. Shout out to Sophie. Shout out to Mataya. Whoops, why did I put a T? Mataya. There we go. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Val. Shout out to Harper. Shout out to, is it Lindsay? Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Autumn. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Bo. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Dea. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Salma. Shout out to Fabrun. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to Sadia. Thank you for subscribing. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Maria. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Adriel. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Valentina. Shout out to Isaiah. Shout out to Amanda. Shout out to Nevaeh. Shout out to Amber. Shout out to, is it Faya? I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Gervier. Shout out to Lexa. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Stony. Shout out to Zion. Shout out to Blake. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Yoreli. Shout out to Miku. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Tessa. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Nico. Shout out to these people. I think, let me see if I can, because it's the last page, let me see if I can write on the back of it. Give me 1 second. I think it might work. I'll try it. If it doesn't work and it leaks through or it looks too like messy, I'll end the live and I'll buy another notebook. Thank you for being here. How does it look? Does it look like you can see the writing, like the back of it? Let me know if it looks like really bad. If not, I won't write names. Shout out to Monique. Shout out to Layla. Oh no, Lele. Shout out to Lele. Shout out to Alora. Is it okay? I guess we can do this. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Gabby. Wait, did I spell Gabby correctly? Oh yeah, I did. Shout out to Sutton. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Veda. Shout out to Journey. Shout out to Hunter. Shout out to Aiden. Shout out to Sylvia. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Dea. Shout out to Miriam. Shout out to Claire. Shout out to Winnie. Shout out to Soraya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Paisley. Shout out to Mariah. Shout out to Catherine. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Genesis. Excuse me. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Zava. Thank you for your patience. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Erin. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to Alexa. Shout out to Shira. Or Shira, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to June. Shout out to Stylin. Shout out to Blossom. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Canyon. Shout out to Delilah. Shout out to Rosie. Shout out to DJ. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Renee. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Hayden. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Veda. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Cheyenne. Shout out to Anna Paula. Shout out to Cambria. Canyon, I got you. Shout out to Eden. Shout out to Zayden. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Kia, or Kaya, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jewel. Shout out to Tracy. Shout out to Denise. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Dayara. Shout out to Rosemary. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to Carter. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Jules. Shout out to Ginu. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Trez. Shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Maite. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Cade. Shout out to Sabrina. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Ace. Shout out to Eilish. Shout out to Tilly. Shout out to Carson. Shout out to Briley. Shout out to Elizar. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Walker. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to Abigail. Shout out to Kate. Shout out to Bonnie. Shout out to Daniela. Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Stella. Shout out to Shamaya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Lily. Thank you everyone for your patience. Shout out to Gift. Shout out to Stony. Shout out to King. Shout out to Milan. Shout out to Abri, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Moyer. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Nia or Naya. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to these people. Okay, on to the next page. So I ran out of pages from my notebook, so I'm gonna go flip the page. There we go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the shout outs. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time to write your name. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Gail. Thank you for your support. Gail Gainey. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Emanuele. Whoops, I messed up. Oh, let me write it again. Shout out to Emanuele. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Shout out to Emanuele. Shout out to Mia. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to Sadie. Shout out to Gabriel. Shout out to Alani. Shout out to Carly. Shout out to Gail. Thank you again. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Brayley. Shout out to Canitono. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Macy. Shout out to Malibu. Shout out to... Oh, I'm so sorry. Forgive me for not reading. Shout out to Yuna. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I appreciate your patience. Shout out to Miriam. Shout out to Melinda. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Shelby. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Funtime Foxy. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Aspen. Thank you everyone for your patience. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Natalie. Shout out to Aspen, I got you. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Wyatt. Shout out to London. Shout out to Kin. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Scarlett. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to China. Shout out to Love. Shout out to Alice. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Kendall. Shout out to Elena. Shout out to David. Shout out to Lay. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Elia. Shout out to Jamil. Shout out to Ayana. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Eliana, I got you. Oh wait, no. Oh no, I don't. Give me 1 second. Shout out to Eliana. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Valerie. Shout out to Antonella. Thank you so much for your patience. I know I write slow, so I appreciate your patience very, very much. Shout out to Brooks. Shout out to Sasha. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Hunter. Shout out to Elsie. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Zineb. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Cache. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Akira. Or Akira. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Giselle. Shout out to Paisley. Shout out to Marlo. Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to Stony. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Nora. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Zanab. Shout out to Jez. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to India. Shout out to Viola. Thank you so much for subscribing. Shout out to Brody. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Harrison. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Ali. I'm so sorry. Thank you for writing your name. I'm so sorry I'm slow. Thank you for your patience. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Bree. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to Matthew. Or Matthew. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Eli. Shout out to Paige. Shout out to Carter. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Liana. Shout out to India. Shout out to Suve. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Annabelle. I'm gonna put your name over here so it fits. Shout out to Linda. Shout out to Bang Chan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Kian or Kyan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Thank you, cool kid. I truly appreciate it. I'm gonna write your name here so it fits. Thank you so much for your support. Is it like this? Did I spell it correctly or is it zeros? I think it's zeros. Let me write it again. So it's zeros. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Annie. Shout out to Brody. Shout out to Maverick. Shout out to Giselle. Okay. Shout out to these people. Okay, on to the next page. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your patience. I know I'm kind of slow, and I try to write as fast as I can, so I appreciate you taking the time to write your name. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I'm gonna write Cool Kid again, just because I was kind of squished in the last part. Okay, there we go. Shout out to Jax. Shout out to Finesse. Shout out to Giselle. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to India. Shout out to Marilyn. Shout out to Pomni. Shout out to Liliana. Shout out to David. Shout out to Melissa. Shout out to Giselle, I got you. Shout out to Jace. Shout out to Tink. Shout out to Nepal. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Lincoln. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Madden. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Shell. Shout out to Greg. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Ryder. Shout out to Aubrey, I got you. Shout out to Sanaya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Aw, thank you so much. It's cool, kid. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you. I'm wishing you all the best. Thank you so much. I hope this new year brings you a lot of blessings and happiness and joy. Thank you, cool kid. Shout out to Akira. Shout out to Jace. Shout out to Worm. Shout out to Rosalie. Thank you so much. I'm doing well. How about you? Thank you for asking. Shout out to Kaden. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Kat. Shout out to Paisley. Shout out to Montica. Shout out to DJ. Shout out to Arissa. Shout out to Ariana. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you for your kind words. I truly appreciate it. I hope this new year brings you a lot of joy and happiness as well. Shout out to Theodore. Shout out to Giselle. Shout out to Raya. Shout out to Max. Shout out to SJ. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to, thank you, Giselle. Shout out to Zia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Chrisley, no worries. I appreciate everyone being here. This support is so meaningful to me. Everyone just here taking a chance on my channel, like that means the world to me. Shout out to Maddox. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Jilly. Shout out to Diamond. Shout out to Golden. Shout out to Ivy. Shout out to Riker. Thank you, Rosalie. I hope your new year is Going well as well. Thank you so much. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Kaylin. Thank you for your support. Shout out to, is it Evie or Ivy? Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Ryder. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Alana. Shout out to Kamoya. Shout out to Tracy. Shout out to Flora. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Torajo. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Reet. Shout out to Alice. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Ashlyn. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Greg. Thank you everyone for your patience. I know I'm not the fastest writer. Shout out to Taya or Taya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Thank you, Chrisley, for your kind words. I truly appreciate your support. I'm gonna write your name over here because it won't fit over here. Shout out to Chrisley. Shout out to Fosika. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Annabelle. Shout out to Mila. Shout out to Orlando. Shout out to Abby. Shout out to Ainsley. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Angela Ann. I'm gonna write Ann down here because it doesn't fit. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Grayson. Shout out to Emerald. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to, shout out to George. Thank you, Rosalie, for your kind words. I truly appreciate it. And I also I hope you have a very nice day as well. Shout out to Montserrat. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to VL. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Anurag. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm gonna write your name over here so it fits. Shout out to Liberty. Hi, Have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. Shout out to Tiffany. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Oops. Flip. Thank you for being here. Also, thank you for your patience. I know I'm not the fastest writer, so I appreciate you being here and taking the time to write your name. Shout out to Sapphire. Shout out to George. Shout out to Blue Kid. Shout out to Montica. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Rumi. Shout out to Ada. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Joseliani. Joseliani. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Cassie. Shout out to Mackenzie. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to, thank you, Chris Lee. Shout out to Soraya. Shout out to, thank you, Rosalie, you too. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Amelie. Shout out to Kimberly. Shout out to Callie, or Kali. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Rain. Shout out to Ozzy. Shout out to Lilybeth. Shout out to, is it Tyler? Shout out to, don't worry, Joseliani, your support and your being here, like, that's more than enough. I truly appreciate it. And happy early birthday. Shout out to Heidi. Shout out to Brody. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Casey. Shout out to Samantha. Shout out to Dahlia. Shout out to Samantha. Oh, I already put Samantha, my bad. Shout out to, oops. Shout out to Desari. Shout out to Ginger. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Waylon. Shout out to Dot. Shout out to happy birthday, Rosalie. Shout out to Rosalie. Shout out to Aisha or Asha. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Lily May. Shout out to Kimora. Shout out to Baylor. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Ashlyn. Shout out to Claudia. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Juju. Happy birthday. Shout out to Miller. Shout out to, oh, Juliet. Shout out to Juliet. Happy birthday. Shout out to Mitsuba. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Doggy. Shout out to Avery. I'm sorry for your loss. Shout out to Caddy. Shout out to Eliza. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Menas. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Lila. Hi Lila, thank you for joining. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Mila. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Mila. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Marinette. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jolie. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Alessandra. Shout out to Maham. Shout out to Liarna. Happy birthday. Shout out to Yasmin. Shout out to Deshaya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Sophia. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Srimai. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Muaz. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Waylon. Shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to Valeria. Shout out to Eve. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to D'Angelo. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Mila. Shout out to Janira. Shout out to Mango. Shout out to Mola. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Ashlyn. Shout out to Amila. Shout out to, was it Maggie? Oh, I missed it. Oh yeah, Maggie. Shout out to Maggie. Shout out to Phoebe. Thank you for your patience. Shout out to, is it Lala? Shout out to I got Aria. Shout out to Nat. Shout out to Skyla. Shout out to, I did, Aria and Ashlyn. Shout out to Emma Meg. I hope she gets well soon. I'm gonna put your name here so it fits. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Rio. Shout out to Ramiro. Shout out to Stella. Shout out to Fanta. Shout out to Amira. Shout out to Carolina. Shout out to Moon. Shout out to Soul. Shout out to Miriam. Shout out to Gamana. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Nina. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to, happy birthday, Anna. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to these people. Thank you so much for being here today. I live stream every day. I hope you can subscribe so you know when I'm gonna live stream. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here and for writing your name. It means a lot to me. I hope you can check out my channel. I post other content that I hope you can support as well. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best in this new year. Take care. Bye.